Emperor Thaxon, IX, regarded the holographic message with the sort of bewildered amusement reserved for particularly audacious children. In his 4 centuries of rule over the Galactic Imperium, spanning 12,000 star systems and countless billions of subjects, no species had ever dared to issue him a formal prohibition. Yet here it was, transmitted on all frequencies throughout the galaxy. A simple declaration from the primitive world called Earth, stating in remarkably polite terms that the Imperium was hereby cordially but firmly requested to respect the sovereignty of Terran space and refrain from any unauthorized entry into the Sol system. How quaint, the Emperor mused, his crystalline carapace shifting colors with his amusement. Standing before him in the throne chamber of the Imperial flagship Eternal Dominion, Fleet Admiral Karath shifted uneasily. The Zephyrian officer had conquered 17 sectors for the Empire, but something about this particular situation made his tactical instincts scream warnings. "Your Imperial Majesty," Karath ventured carefully, "perhaps we should investigate further before proceeding. The humans have made some unusual technological advances recently." "Such as?" Thaxon asked, though his tone suggested he found the very concept of human technological advancement amusing. "Well, sire, there was the incident at the Rigel outpost last month. Our surveillance station simply disappeared. One moment it was there, monitoring human shipping lanes. The next moment, our sensors detected nothing but empty space and a small placard reading, 'No solicitors.'" The Emperor's amusement flickered slightly. "Equipment malfunction, surely. That's what we thought, until it happened to the listening post at Alpha Centauri, and the mining operation in the Vega system, and the research facility at—" "Enough," Thaxon interrupted. "Are you suggesting that these primitives somehow removed Imperial installations without our forces detecting the slightest sign of attack?" Before Karath could answer, the ship's communications officer, a nervous-looking Pexian with too many eyes, approached the throne. "Your Majesty, we're receiving another transmission from Earth. It's addressed to you personally." "Put it through," the Emperor commanded. The main holographic display shimmered to life, revealing a middle-aged human woman sitting behind a simple wooden desk. She wore no crown, no elaborate robes of office, just a plain blue suit that suggested she might be anyone from a mid-level bureaucrat to a grocery store manager. A small nameplate on her desk read President Sarah Martinez, United Earth Government. "Emperor Thaxon," she began with a warm smile, as if greeting an old friend. "Thank you for taking my call. I hope this message finds you well. I'm calling to follow up on our previous communication regarding your Empire's activities in our neighborhood." The sheer casualness of her tone sent ripples of shock through the throne room. Lesser beings prostrated themselves before Thaxon. They begged for mercy, offered tribute, or at least showed proper fear. This human was talking to him like he was a neighbor whose dog had been digging up her garden. "I realize," President Martinez continued, "that your empire has certain expansionist policies. However, I'm afraid we're going to have to insist that you respect our clearly marked boundaries. We've been more than patient about your surveillance stations, but I'm afraid we can't allow any further encroachment." "Marked boundaries?" Thaxon sputtered. "What marked boundaries?" Martinez looked genuinely surprised. "Oh, haven't you seen them? That's odd. We installed them 3 months ago when we first noticed your interest in our system." She pressed something on her desk, and suddenly every sensor aboard the Eternal Dominion began screaming alerts. On the tactical display, a sphere of impossible energy appeared around the Sol system, a barrier that stretched from the edge of the Orc cloud inward, pulsing with colors that the ship's computers couldn't properly classify. "There we are," Martinez said pleasantly. "I suppose your sensors just needed a moment to calibrate. That's our Terran exclusion field. Think of it as a very polite keep-out sign." Admiral Karath frantically worked his command console. "Your Majesty, the barrier is. It's not reading on any known energy spectrum. Our computers can't even classify what it's made of." "It's quite simple, really," Martinez said, apparently able to hear their conversation. "We call it crystallized politeness. You see, we humans discovered something interesting about quantum mechanics. Consciousness and courtesy can actually be used to alter the fundamental structure of space-time itself." "That's impossible," Thaxon declared. "Oh, I understand your skepticism," Martinez nodded sympathetically. "We thought so too, until we started experimenting with what our scientists call aggressive niceness. It turns out that when an entire civilization genuinely, sincerely, and politely asks the universe to leave them alone, reality tends to comply." She gestured towards something off-screen. "Dr. Peterson, would you explain the technical details to His Imperial Majesty?" A cheerful-looking man in a lab coat appeared beside Martinez. "Certainly. You see, Emperor Thaxon, we discovered that politeness creates a measurable quantum field effect. When approximately 8 billion humans simultaneously generate feelings of courteous but firm boundary setting, it creates a barrier that's impermeable to hostile intent. The fascinating part," Dr. Peterson continued enthusiastically, "is that the barrier only affects beings who approach with malicious purpose. Peaceful visitors pass right through. We've had lovely exchanges with the Arcturian Merchants Guild and the Philosophical Collective of Betelgeuse. But anything approaching with conquest in mind simply bounces off." To demonstrate, a small probe launched from the Imperial flagship, its weapons systems armed and targeting scanners active. The moment it touched the barrier, it simply stopped existing, not destroyed, not damaged, just gone. "Where did it go?" Admiral Karath whispered. "Nowhere," Martinez replied kindly. "The universe simply decided that something so impolite doesn't deserve to exist in the same reality as Earth. Don't worry, it's quite painless." The probe never even realized what happened. Emperor Thaxon felt something entirely foreign to his experience: uncertainty. "This is preposterous. I have the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. I could reduce your world to ash with a single command." "Oh, I'm sure you could try," Martinez agreed amiably. "But here's the thing about crystallized politeness: the ruder you are, the stronger it gets. The moment you fire a single weapon with hostile intent toward Earth, every conscious being in the galaxy will feel a sudden, inexplicable urge to be nice to each other. Wars will stop, arguments will end, and aggressive civilizations will spontaneously develop manners." She leaned forward conspiratorially. "Between you and me, Emperor, we're rather hoping you do try something aggressive. The galaxy could use a good dose of courtesy." Dr. Peterson nodded eagerly. "Our models suggest that a full-scale Imperial assault would trigger what we call the universal please and thank you effect. Violence would become literally impossible throughout the galaxy for approximately 3,000 years. The throne room fell silent, except for the gentle humming of the barrier around Earth, a sound remarkably similar to a mother humming a lullaby. "So," President Martinez concluded, "we hope you'll respect our polite request to stay out of Terran space. We have no quarrel with your empire, but we're quite fond of our independence. We're happy to coexist peacefully, but we absolutely insist on good manners." The transmission ended, leaving Emperor Thaxon staring at the impenetrable barrier around Earth. For the first time in 4 centuries of conquest, he found himself facing an enemy that didn't fight back. They simply refused to allow rudeness to exist in their presence. "Admiral," he said finally, his voice unusually quiet, "set course for the Andromeda Galaxy. I think we need to expand our operations elsewhere." As the Imperial fleet turned away from Earth, Thaxon couldn't shake the feeling that he had just encountered something far more dangerous than any weapon, a civilization that had weaponized good manners.